Hey everyone, so last week I was showing you how to make these squares. Now I've gone ahead and sewn them into a cardigan which looks kind of cute. You could say it looks kind of boxy. Bad joke, sorry. But now I need to make the sleeves. Now the reason why I've waited till now to do the sleeves is that I want to show you how I've sewn this together, which is the same for the sleeves, how I've done the edging, which again will be the same for the sleeves. As for the buttons, I'm sure you know how to sew buttons on. Now I'm aware this is off the machine, this is all crochet again, but doesn't this look adorable? I saw someone else have a make of this and I realised there wasn't a video on how to do a granny square cardigan. So this is what I've ended up with. Yes, I have done it with these sunflower patches in multicolours rather than the traditional granny square, but whichever you want to choose, that's what works for you. So I'll see you on the hook and we are going to show you how to crochet these squares up to make them sink in a little bit so they pop. Yes, basic continuation from last week. See you all on the hook, people. Welcome back to the hook. I am still using a 3.75 as demonstrated when I was making these lovely squares. The idea is we want the seam to be on the outside because that's what's going to border the squares. For this particular top I have used 58 squares. That is 40 for the body, 20 for the back, 20 for the front, and 9 for each of the sleeves. Now talking about sleeves, I've got all my squares made up. I've just got to decide which order I want them in. So please bear with me a minute while I work this out roughly. Yeah, don't want two oranges together. With the sleeve, it is going to wrap around. So whatever colour you have here will be next to this colour. Please bear that in mind when you are making it. It is easier if you have these set up somewhat in advance so you can just sew. So if I do this for the first sleeve, I'm sorry you can't see the full thing. Let's try and zoom out on this a little bit. Hi. There we go. Close enough. So that's my first sleeve. These are not sewn up. That's the backing off the back of the cardigan that you just saw me wear. And let's just make sure the other one matches up over here off camera, because I don't want too much of the same colour being together. The purpose of this being made out of scrap wool means that I want it to look scrap woolish. There we go, that will do. Yep, these colours will match up right fine. So to join together, I'm obviously using a white double knit wool, the same thickness of the squares. This is where it's going to get a bit difficult. You obviously don't want your sleeves coming apart at the seams, so we're just going to do a slip knot. And we're popping that straight on the hook. You're grabbing your first two squares together and you want them right side out. You know, the wrong side, you want them right side out. And we're just going to go into the first corner, and we're only sewing up one side here, and we are just going to double crochet, or in US terms single crochet, all the way across, but 2 in each corner. So make sure you're going through the first stitch of the first square and the first stitch of the second square, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and we are doing this all the way across to this square. I was contemplating on adding a pocket to this. Maybe that could be a feature that you want, therefore you might end up making 60 squares. And we are just going into every single stitch across. The tricky bit comes next. because once we get into the end of it, I'm also doing one in the space as well, one in the chain space. Sorry, I'm just automatically doing this. I think I'm better at machine tutorials than I am at crochet tutorials. But for those that have a semi-understanding of know what they're doing, then this will be absolutely fine. And then 2 into the corner. Now here's the fun bit. You're going to pick up the next 2 squares. And we're just going to continue on with this. I'm not breaking the yarn. I am making a continuous row. Again, make sure that you have got the right side out. 2 in the corner again, and 1 all the way across. Sleeves are 3 by 3. So that's sewn up like that, and I will be coming back across here to fill this gap in. So let's get these 2 added on. Through the magic of recording and editing, I will speed through this bit. It is exactly the same as the other one. We are just going to do 2 in every one. So magic of editing, speed power. When you've got to the end of that, you are just going to do a chain, and then you're going to grab scissors. Then you are going to grab scissors. Pause video while I found my scissors. And you are going to find scissors and just snip that. And that's your first 3 done together. Remember which way you were doing it, otherwise your colours won't match. Right, instead of going this way straight away, we're going to do this way again, so we can do that way straight. If that makes logic. So again, you're just going to pick up the 2 and you're going to keep adding on as you go. So let's do that. And 2 in the corner stitch. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add the next square on. So what we've got now is we've got 3 attached this way. When you're adding your next squares, make sure you don't twist these chains, because you'll basically then have the wrong side facing out, and you want right side facing out. So just pick up your next one, attach it to the middle one, and then you're just going to repeat the same action and go across. Make sure right side is facing out again. Okay, now adding the final square on. Again, there is a reason why I've done this way. As you've noticed so far, I've only broken the wall once, and that was to put a new column or row in. 9 by 9, so it 3 by 3, so it doesn't really matter whether you see it as a column or a row. Again, right side facing out. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. Sorry guys, I know it's the most annoying tune in the world. I don't know why my head's stuck into it. So providing that you've got none of your twists, none of these twisted, you should be fine to go on to the next stage. So we have got 2 tie-offs, 2 cast-ons, and we've done that way. So now we're going to do this way. So now all we're going to do is we're going to pinch this up, and we're going to do that same chain all the way across, still 2 in each corner, and we're just going to stitch over this bit. So let's get you through that, and then I believe I'm going to speed through the rest of this, and I'm going to show you how to join the 2 edges together. Again, if you want a more secure cast on, just do your slip knot, put your wool on your hook, drag it through, and you've got a more secure cast on. Just like before, you come into a corner, you're doing 1, 2 double crochet or single crochet US, and then you're going straight over this. You're ignoring this is irrelevant, and then you go in 1, 2, back into the corner of your square, and you're just going to stitch it across. Now I'm going to speed this up. You are going to do the exact same thing down here, and then I'll meet you back when we connect the lock together to actually make a sleeve. Okay, so when you're at the last line of this, again, we are just going to snip this side. Now, remember which way around you were doing your sleeve, because this is the last 2 that we are sewing up. I believe I was doing mine that way. So again, you want it right side out, because we want this border showing. And we're going to sew around this edge now, which will be less fiddly than the other ones, because it's pretty much all in place. And we are almost at the final bit of our sleeve. You are going to sew it up exactly the same way as you sewed the other ones up. Okay everyone, so now we have a sleeve. It is a loose sleeve. We are going to tighten the cuff up with the next lot of stitches. This will attach onto the jumper that we have made, that is sitting right here. So let's tidy these ends up. All these ends can be worked in later, cut off, tied up, depending on how you attach them to your flower. How you attach them, yes, to the round. I'm going to be weaving mine in just like so. With me, it will just be a massive game of weaving in and then trimming off. Sorry, I'm just getting these ones on around here. So what we're going to do is we are going to work a double crochet around the cuff, US single crochet, and then let's get into front post. You want 1 double crochet or single crochet into every stitch, including the corners. Again, to ensure that your stitch isn't going anywhere, do a slip stitch to start off before you attach. Something I don't always do, because I generally use a different method, but this is the easiest. And you're just going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch, not your chain spaces, just your stitches, because we want to decrease this rapidly. So just 1 into every single stitch around. Again, I am working right side out. I wasn't recording, so after your single crochets, or UK double crochets, you're going to slip stitch it together, you're going to free chain, and then you're going to do your triple crochets or US double crochets into every single stitch across. If you want your sleeves a bit tighter, now's your turn to think about decreasing. I don't want mine done that tight. You can also change hook size to make it tighter. You do you. Then we're going to slip stitch into the top. For this next round, you are only going to chain 2. You are going to do yarn over, and you're going to be working in the front post. So that is just by going through the front of the stitch. Pull the yarn through, yarn over for 2, yarn over to 2. We are going to do 7 rounds, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 rounds. If you want your cuff longer, do it for how many you need, but I'm going to do this for 5. I will get back to you. You know the stitch, we are just working it in the round. So what I've done in the end, everyone, is I have done 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of front post. I have done 2 lots of decreases just so I still have the wider arm that I prefer. I've decreased on the second line and on the 5th line. First line being double crochet only, triple crochet, sorry. So I've then decreased on this line, done normal, decreased on this line, done normal. It's up to you what you decrease by. I decreased by 4, then I decreased by 3. So 3 triple crochet, then a decrease. So for example, decrease, 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease, and I've done that all the way around for that second round. Then I've done a row of normal, then here I've done decrease, 1, 2, 3, decrease. Again, it's up to you how tight you want your sleeves. You can always thread some wool through at a later date to tighten it if you want, but I like my sleeves baggy just because I don't know what clothes I'm going to be wearing underneath them. So that is the first sleeve done. Again, any ends we can tuck away, cut off later depending on how we did them. So then it's just attaching it to the cardigan. That is the exact same thing that I did for the base, apart from I did no decreases. So cardigan, again, we are going to be sewing it right side. So we want to turn our sleeve inside out, so that when we pull it the right way, it'll be right way out. You're going to pull your sleeve inside. There we go, now we're talking. Then you want to marry up your edges. So whichever colour coordination you want. I actually think I want this the other way. If you are like me, you have made it almost perfectly round. There we go. Then it's just meeting up your sides to your sides. Same stitch again. all the way around the edging. Do that with the other side and you will have your cardigan. It is as simple as that, people, and I will show you the finished product. But let's get this done and fast forward it. See you in the future. So, I've got my sleeves on. I have done all 58 squares. You can have a choice with the collar. You can either have the button straight to the top if you've got a wider neck, or if you're slightly shorter like me, have it open. I mean, that would keep me warm regardless. But this is quite a warm crochet on its own. Anyway, happy crafting, guys. Hopefully I'll be back on the machine soon. I've missed it, but I've also missed feeling the yarn in between my fingertips. Thus, all the crochet. And you've got all the squares. And more of the squares. This is an idea for your scrap wool. Just try and keep to the same weight, double knit all the way, or whichever one you're using. Each square is 5 rounds of double knit with a 3.75, but you can easily use the 4. Happy crafting, guys. See ya.